Listen to them, 80,000 of them, screaming for blood. Up there in the light, it is a glorious day in the heart of Rome. But down here in the damp, suffocating bowels of the Colosseum, there is no glory. Only the stench of fear, stale sweat, and the coppery smell of yesterday's dead. I am not a hero. I am meat. Bought for a handful of copper coins to entertain a dying empire. The heavy wooden door swings open. The guards. Their polished bronze armor gleams in the torchlight, mocking our filth. They don't look us in the eye. To them, we are already ghosts. He tosses me my armor. It hits the stone floor with a dead clank. It's rusted, dented, and thickly caked with dried black blood on the inside. The man who wore this yesterday died screaming. Now it's my turn to wear his skin. A sharp nudge from a spear shaft between my shoulder blades gets me moving. We shuffle forward, a miserable line of condemned men walking deeper into the gloom. The air gets hotter, thicker with smoke from the oil lamps. It's hard to breathe. Then comes a new sound, a low guttural growl that vibrates right through your bones. The beast cages, massive iron bars thick as a man's arm built right into the stone. Through the darkness, massive yellow eyes track my every step, predatory, hungry. A lion from the deep sands of Africa. It hasn't been fed in a week. It throws its massive body against the bars. The smell is overwhelming. Rank fur, ammonia, and rotting meat. A beastmaster walks past, twirling a thick leather whip covered in sharp metal barbs. He smiles at the tiger in the next cage, then he smiles at us. It's the same smile. We hurry past, pressing our backs against the far wall, praying the rusted locks hold. We are herded into a cramped, pitch-black holding pen just beneath the arena floor. The heat in here is unbearable. We are packed together like cattle waiting for the butcher. Next to me, a giant of a man from Gaul is weeping silently. Another is violently throwing up in the dark corner. I just stare down at my own weapon, a dull, notched iron sword held in a trembling hand. It's too heavy for my weak grip. It feels completely useless. Suddenly, a deafening roar erupts from the massive crowd directly above our heads. Dust sifts down through the wooden planks every time a heavy body hits the sand. They are dying up there right now. And our turn is coming incredibly fast. A harsh metallic clank echoes through the pen. The mechanism is engaging. The wooden floor beneath my feet shudders and slowly starts to rise. The chanting of the crowd grows deafening, shaking the very teeth in my skull. A blinding beam of sunlight slices through the iron grate above. The trap door opens. There is no turning back. The hot air of the arena hits me like a physical blow. The sun is blinding after the dark tunnels. I take my first step out onto the yellow sand. It is already stained crimson. The wall of sound is paralyzing. 80,000 Romans screaming as one living, breathing monster. High above, the emperor sits in his shaded box, completely detached from the slaughter below. Across the vast expanse of the arena, the heavy iron gates begin to slowly rise. Out of the shadows steps our executioner, a towering champion clad in pristine, gleaming steel armor. I grip my rusted sword. Terror turns into pure adrenaline. He doesn't have a name, only a skull painted on his massive wooden shield. Handlers release 3 starving war dogs. They sprint towards us, foaming at the mouth. The giant Gaul next to me lets out a primal roar and charges forward to meet them. First dog leaps, the Gaul swings, blood sprays across the hot sand. The crowd erupts into an absolute frenzy. The massacre has officially begun. I don't have time to process the horror. A desperate man with a trident is charging straight at me. I raise my sword just in time. Metal violently clashes against metal. The impact sends a sickening shockwave up my arm. My blade chips deeply, but it holds. I thrust forward blindly. I feel the iron sink into flesh. The man collapses. There is no triumph, only a sickening warmth on my hands. But the crowd, they demand more. The towering champion turns his dark visor toward me. He swings a massive spiked mace. I dive frantically into the dirt. I feel the heavy iron whistle just inches above my head. I scramble backward on my hands and knees like an animal completely defenseless. My desperate fingers close around something buried in the sand, a fallen Roman short sword. I wipe the sand from my eyes just in time to see the giant looming over me, blocking out the sun. But before he can strike the final blow, the giant Gaul tackles him from the blind side. The Gaul is bleeding heavily from a dozen wounds, but he fights like a cornered demon. The champion's strength is unnatural. He easily overpowers the Gaul, driving a dagger deep into his stomach. The champion's strength is unnatural. He easily overpowers the Gaul, driving a dagger deep into his stomach. Now it is just him and me. He turns his skull-painted mask back in my direction. I force myself to my feet. My legs are trembling, but my grip on the stolen Roman sword is ironclad. He charges like a furious bull, raising his spiked mace for a crushing overhead strike. At the last possible second, I dive beneath his swing. The heavy iron mace smashes uselessly into the sand. Using all my remaining strength, I drive the sharp Roman blade up into the exposed gap under his arm. He lets out a deafening metallic scream. The giant drops his mace and crashes to his knees. I pull the blade free. He falls forward, dead. Suddenly, the roaring of the 80,000 people completely stops. Dead silence. Then a single voice cheers, then 100, then the entire Colosseum erupts. I look down at my blood-soaked hands. I survived today, but tomorrow I have to do it all over again.